Hello and welcome. You're watching Markets Today. I'm Sakshi Batra, and here I am to give you a lowdown as to what really happened in the stock markets today. What was the trading session like? Where were the gains and losses seen throughout the trading session? Well, it turned out to be a manic Monday of sort for stock markets because for the 12th day running between the Ukraine Russia crisis and the ongoing war, the stock markets have perhaps had the worst ever fall amidst this kind of a war situation, because we did see the war not de-escalating anytime soon. Constantly there have been hopes on the talks, and then more rounds of talks that are supposed to happen now amidst the ceasefire as well. There have been some deviations, but then the biggest impact today that actually dragged the stock market sentiments world over was the sharp surge in the crude oil prices. Brent crude nearly touched $140 a barrel, traded for the most part of the day around $125 per barrel. And this sharp surge caused stir across the globe, not the world, not just the world markets. In Asia, but also the US futures are now down in trade as well, indicating further opening on the lower side for the US markets in the evening today. Now, talk about the market levels that we saw at close. Of course, we opened over 2% lower. We did see some recovery happening towards the last of the session, but still, if you see, the Sensex ended about at 52,842, down 1491 points, or 2.7% from the previous close. The Nifty shed 382 points, or 2.4%, to settle at 15,863. So the crucial support levels of 16,000, 16,200, all of them have been broken below, and both the headline indices closed for the fourth session consecutively into the red as well. Now, talk about the kind of losses that you're seeing on these major markets from record high levels. If you talk about now, both the Sensex and the Nifty have cooled off 15% from their all time highs in this recent sell off that you've seen in the stock markets. Talk about the Nifty Bank, it is down more than 20% from record highs. It fell over 4% in a single trading session for the second time in this last 1 week. In fact, it has entered a bear territory as well, as most of the experts are looking at the kind of sell-off in on Nifty Bank. Talk about the BSE listed, companies, how they have erased the market cap today of about 5 to 6 lakh crore rupees of investors' wealth has been eroded suddenly. In March so far alone, 11 to 12 lakh crore rupees of investors' wealth has been wiped off. Among sectors, Nifty Realty, PSU banks, all of them saw very very sharp cuts of over 4 to 5 odd % as well. Barring metals and say slight gains coming in on PSU index. Rest all of the sectors did see some sharp falls coming in. The fear index, or the fear gauge, India VIX, also rose sharply almost by 5%, remained over 29 levels, very, very sharp levels as well. Financial stocks were a major drag on the index. IndusInd Bank, Axis Bank, top losers on the Nifty. ONGC, on the other hand, hit a 4 year high on the back of these rising crude oil prices. This has been beneficial for the upstream companies like Oil India and ONGC. Some what for the Reliance Industries stock price as well. But rest of the sectors, definitely had a hard day. Rupee also hit a record low of 76.96 against the US dollar on the back of the rise in crude oil prices and the fears of inflation now. And also the widening of current account deficit, that's been a major concern. Hindalco, Coal India, Bharti Airtel, HCL, and UPL, they gained a bit on the back of the commodity prices increase. JK Cement was the top mid cap loser. Cement space has been very badly hit on the back of the crude oil prices rise. Market breadth, however, improved from the opening but still favored the bears. Advanced decline ratio was at 1 is to 5 at this point in time at the closing levels as well. But overall speaking, metals was the only sectoral gainer in the trade. Even cryptocurrencies, they had a very hard day. Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, Terra, all of them tanked up to 10% odd as well. So keeping this in mind, experts are really looking at with a lot of uncertainty as to what comes forward for the stock markets, and what could this rise in crude oil prices really mean for an economy like India, which imports most of its energy needs and oil needs, about 85% at that as well. And how would this really impact inflation going forward, which so far was looking to be under control as far as what RBI statements had been going around. Now we are looking at a scenario of lower growth, The numbers were very clear in Q3 and with the anticipated Q4 numbers as well. So the growth is slowing down, inflation is rising, there is a scenario of stagflation emerging as well. So that has been a major concern among the investors today. And looking at the near term or the medium term impact of what this could have on the economy is something, and on India Inc.'s earnings as well, because most of this crude oil prices rising means a hit on their margins too. Look at the way auto index has been falling, and the sector stocks have been feeling the heat. Of course, on the one hand, you had the semiconductor issue, you had the falling or the muted demand, and now you have the rising crude oil prices, which will ultimately hit consumers with the rise in petrol and diesel prices, which has so far not been changing in the last about 100 odd days. But today, when the last phase of elections gets over, most of the experts are anticipating that there could be a sudden shocker of a price rise on petrol and diesel tomorrow when we wake up, and that is going to be a big shocker as well. And that may quickly lead on to the domestic prices of food, vegetables, everything gets expensive as soon as the petrol and diesel prices rise as well. So that's been a major concern. So that is one trigger that investors will be looking at, and how markets will be reacting tomorrow onto that as well. And the second of all, the elections and exit polls will come out in the evening. What kind of results happen over there will also have an investors sentiment overhang also for tomorrow's trading session. That's how the stock markets behave today. For traders, of course, experts are saying, please hold on to your stop losses, be very, very cautious at this point in time. There is no point burning your fingers in this very, very highly volatile stock market scenario. On the other hand, commodity prices are rising. Commodity experts are saying you must definitely continue to buy gold to protect your investors in investments in the riskier assets as well at this point in time. And of course, how the sentiments really gets shifted tomorrow onwards is something. Whether or not on Ukraine Russia front we see some kind of a de-escalation, if that really happens, then one could definitely hope for better days for stock markets and a cool off in the commodity prices also going forward from here. We'll keep you posted with everything that's passing on the D Street, and for that you need to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to like this video as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. For now.